The movie opens with two girls. One of them, Dana, is packing for a weekend getaway with her friends. She's been feeling down for days, but she can always count on Jules and Kurt to lift her spirits. Jules is the most excited about the trip. Meanwhile, Dana is still recovering from a breakup with her teacher. She insists it's not that simple. When talking to her friend, she says, it's not really his fault, talking about her affair with a teacher.
This isn't his fault.
What's not his fault? Fucking his student or breaking up with her by email?
Soon, they are joined by Holden and...
Oh my god.
In the backseat screaming out loud.
What the fuck is wrong with you, bro?
Well, let's say Marty is the clown of the group, but sharper than he looks.
A giant bomb in your father's van?
And Holden is the outsider.
What are you, stoned?
Now that everyone is here, Kurt takes the wheel and they set off toward an unknown destination. As they drive away, a mysterious man watches them from the rooftop of their building. Along the way, Marty smokes an absurd amount of weed, filling the air with his paranoid ramblings. He also jokes about the government control over people. Everyone laughs it off, but his words ironically foreshadow the movie's main themes of manipulation and control.
Doesn't even show up on the GPS.
This is the whole issue. Everything's filed or recorded, blogged, right? Society is binding. Chips in our kids' heads so they won't get lost. Society needs to crumble.
The group stumbles upon a rundown gas station and decides to refuel. When Holden enters the shop, suddenly he ran into a creepy, middle-aged attendant. The man is rude, making unsettling comments about Jules. Kurt snaps. He steps forward, ready to hit him, but the others quickly pull him away.
You were rude to my friend.
Sassing me, boy. What'd you say?
I think we got enough gas.
Getting back.
He warns them about danger ahead. They laugh it off and continue on their way. But as they leave, we see the truth. The group is being watched and tracked. They cross the mountains and finally arrive at a remote cabin. The structure feels ancient and decrepit, hiding dark secrets within its wooden walls. As they settle in, a heavy, uneasy feeling spreads. Marty is the first to notice something's wrong. Inside, Dana explores the living room while Marty remains outside. Holden picks a room and notices a grotesque painting on the wall. The artwork depicts violent imagery, possibly linked to the cabin history. Disturbed, he removes it. To his shock, he finds a two-way mirror behind it, providing a clear view into Dana's room. He hesitates for a moment, barely spying on her, but Holden finally alerts his friends. Marty remarks the cabin was rigged for spying, like an old interrogation room.
People had to make their own interrogation rooms.
That's just creepy.
Suspicious, Dana switches rooms with Holden. As she examines the mirror closely, she notices Holden's reflection and blushes. Noticing the sinister painting, she freezes before covering it with a blanket. Meanwhile, the group remains unaware they are being monitored from deep underground. In the eerie woods, a team of technicians watches their every move, blending twisted science experiments with reality TV. This isn't your typical job. Hadley, the more cheerful technician, tries to keep things professional. His colleague Sitterson, a little more mischievous, adds humor to the chaos. Then there's Lynn, the serious analyst who is clearly stressed. She reminds her superiors that failure is not an option, especially since they're competing against Japan, to which they respond that Japan has held a perfect record since years, so there is nothing to worry about. They are in a bunker, a kind of government facility. In the control room, a high-tech fortress filled with screens, levers, and buttons, the students are tracked like visitors in some morbid theme park. For the technicians, it's all routine. Same old, same old.
Approximately 10 hours later.
Oh, let's get this party started! Let's get this party started!
The group gathers in the living room, surrounded by flickering candles and dusty furniture. The atmosphere feels cozy but carries an unsettling tension. Everyone drinks, laughs, and teases each other. Could be the booze talking, Jules becomes increasingly flirtatious, especially toward Marty. She tries to pull Kurt into a seductive dance but ends up putting on a show for everyone. As she dances, she draws everyone's attention, leaving Dana and Marty stunned by the way she was acting like a dumb blonde. Dana's turn comes during a game of Truth or Dare.
Truth or dare?
Dana.
Truth.
But before she can answer, a loud bang distracts them.
Jules, there.
Following the sound, they discover a hidden trapdoor. Curiosity wins. Jules dares Dana to explore the basement. Dana creeps down the stairs and finds herself surrounded by bizarre artifacts before the rest of the group goes down. Marty warns them to leave.
I dare you all to go upstairs.
Stop being a fucking baby.
But no one seems listening. Each friend fixates on an object, a music box, conch shell, old film reels, a necklace, and more. Marty plays with a film strip. Dana finds a diary and begins reading aloud. Without realizing it, she recites an incantation that awakens the Buckner family, the zombie rednecks. Back in the control rooms, cheers erupts.
It's the Buckners, ladies and gentlemen.
They bet on every choice. It's revealed that it's a ritual disguised as entertainment. Since the dawn of time, blood must be spilled to appease the ancient ones slumbering beneath the earth. In the United States, under government supervision, 5 unsuspecting students are lured toward the cabin every year. Unknowingly, they trigger the ritual and the technicians carefully orchestrate the sacrifice. Later that night, Marty, still high on weed, senses something is off and starts hearing voices. He tries to warn Dana. He notes that Jules, usually smart and shy, now acts like a brainless bimbo. He wonders if they're all being controlled by invisible puppeteers.
Puppeteers.
Puppeteers?
Did you say you have Pop-Tarts?
Well, then maybe it's something else.
Marty's jokes hide a growing sense of fear. Meanwhile, outside, Jules and Kurt sneak into the woods for some private time. Unaware, a team of men in the control room is watching.
Baby, come on.
They have a blast. The technicians manipulates the environment, dropping the temperature, releasing pheromones to push them into intimacy. When Jules hesitates,
I'm chilly.
she causes a groan from the crowd.
Okay, guys, that's it. Let's go. We got a job to do.
However, the manipulation works. As the couple makes out, the Buckners attack by surprise, brutally stabbing Jules' hand. Kurt fights back, throwing a flurry of punches at one zombie. He spears another, but he's quickly overwhelmed. Jules screams, but it's too late. The Buckners take them down and cut her head off, making sure Kurt witnesses it. Kurt watches helplessly as blood soaks the forest floor. Back in the control room, the technicians say a little prayer before activating a sophisticated mechanism that drains her blood into a pipeline that leads to a stone altar. Meanwhile, in his room, Marty tries to shake off the voices in his head by smoking and reading. He steps outside for air, just in time to see a bloodied Kurt rush back and drags him inside. Once inside, Kurt tells the group what happened to Jules. Panic sets in. Dana, confused and unwilling to comply, opens the door to search for her friend. However, this proves to be a grave mistake. Standing on the porch is the terrifying zombie of John Buckner, who casually tosses Jules' severed head inside. Dana lets out a horrified scream as the boys frantically shut and lock the door. Kurt then declares that they must stick together to survive. But back in the control room, hearing this, Sitterson hits a button releasing chemical gas inside the cabin. The gas clouds their minds. It lowers judgment and breaks group cohesion. Kurt breathes it in, pauses, then changes his mind.
This isn't right. We should split up.
Really?
Suddenly, a zombie smashes through the front door. The group scatters and locks themselves in separate rooms. The control room guys seal the doors one by one. In his room, Marty knocks over a lamp. Inside it, he finds a tiny camera. Shocked, he pulls the wires from the wall. His suspicions were right all along. They're being watched and still thinks he's on a reality show.
What the fuck? I'm on a reality TV show. God. My parents are gonna think I'm such a burnout.
Before he can tell the others, the window shatters. A Buckner grabs Marty and pulls him outside. They both hit the ground, but the Buckner gets up first. Marty fights back, swinging his thermos, but the zombie doesn't even flinch. Marty takes off, and the creature throws a dagger, stabbing him in the back. The poor stoner collapses to the ground. As the zombie drags him, he screams for help, but no one hears. The corpse drags him toward a nearby grave. Underground, the second ritual begins. Once again, the engineers activate the mechanism draining Marty's blood into the stone tomb. The ground trembles in an unusual way, like an earthquake. Back inside, Dana is terrified, trapped in her room. Her fear intensifies as a zombie breaks in, tearing through the wood with a saw. Thankfully, Holden smashes the mirror between their rooms and pulls her through. They barricade the window, then notice another trapdoor on the floor. Realizing they have no other escape route, they descend into the opening. As soon as they land, Dana makes a horrifying realization. They have entered the torture chamber described in the journal. They begin searching for a way out, but suddenly one of the corpses grabs Holden through the trapdoor, pulling him upwards. Dana reacts quickly, driving a crowbar into the creature's neck, forcing it to release its grip. She then grabs a knife and furiously stabs the undead multiple times. At that moment, another door in the torture room bursts open. To their surprise, Kurt emerges and quickly leads them out of the chamber. Once outside, they race to their camper van. Kurt takes the wheel, determined to get them out of this nightmare. Meanwhile, in the control room, Japan's ritual, but also other countries, has failed. Now it's all up to the Americans to ensure the human sacrifice quota is fulfilled.
The Japan crew should have had this in the bag. They fucked us. How hard is it to kill 9-year-olds?
The evil spirit is defeated!
Back in the van, Dana and Holden panic as they races toward a mountain tunnel. But in the control room, Gary panics. The tunnel wasn't blown up. Gary suddenly realizes the tunnel is still open and that the demolition team had not yet triggered the explosion due to a technical malfunction. He runs to the pyrotechnics department and fix it manually, just in time. As the van enters, the mountain explodes, causing huge boulders to collapse, blocking the exit. The survivors are trapped again. This was their only way out. Desperate, they notice a deep chasm, separating them from a pathway on the other side. Kurt comes up with a bold plan. He will use his motorcycle, which is attached to the back of the van, to jump across the gap and reach the nearest town for help.
If I wipe out, I'll fucking limp for help. I'm coming back with cops and choppers and large fucking guns, and those things are gonna pay.
Revving the engine, Kurt speeds toward the edge. For a moment, it looks like he might actually make it, but then he crashes into an invisible force field. Kurt is instantly killed. The two remaining friends watch in horror, screaming as they rush back into the camper. In a tense conversation, Dana acknowledges that Marty was right. Someone is watching and controlling their every move. They will never escape unless they uncover who is behind this. Before they can figure it out, a zombie suddenly appears inside the camper. It drives a sharp rod through Holden's throat, killing him instantly. Dana shrieks in terror as the van spirals out of control, crashing into a nearby lake. As the vehicle sinks, the zombie attempts to grab Dana's leg. She desperately kicks it away and somehow manages to swim to the surface. Back at the control room, the staff erupts in celebration. 4 sacrifices have been made, which is enough to appease the gods. The death of the virgin, in this case, Dana, is optional. Whether she lives or dies is irrelevant, as long as she suffers. Meanwhile, Dana drags herself onto the shore, realizing all her friends are dead. But her nightmare is far from over. The zombie that attacked her in the van emerges from the lake and moves toward her. Too exhausted to fight back, Dana lies on her back as the creature starts strangling her. In the control room, Gary jokes with the demolition team about their near failure, but the team insists that they never received their orders due to a power glitch. Someone had tampered with the system. Just then, the control room phone rings. Steve answers it. It's the director, and she has bad news. One of the students is still alive. The ritual is incomplete. At the same time, Dana is on the verge of being stabbed, but the zombie suddenly collapses behind her. To her astonishment, it's Marty. He is alive. The two make a run for it, and Marty leads Dana to a grave. She is stunned to see that the grave is actually a massive underground tunnel. Nearby are the dismembered remains of a zombie. Marty had managed to kill the creature that attacked him. He also admits that he was the one who caused the power glitch that disrupted the demolition team's work. Marty then reveals an elevator he found under the grave. It's clear now. Someone deliberately sent those monsters after them. Their only choice is to go deeper into the unknown. Without hesitation, they step into the elevator, taking the zombie's dagger with them. As the lift descends, they soon find themselves in a vast underground facility, surrounded by glass cages containing horrifying monsters, ghosts, and nightmarish creatures. Dana suddenly realizes the horrifying truth. The people controlling this nightmare had manipulated them into choosing their own executioners. When she picked up the journal, she unknowingly summoned the zombies, sealing her friend's fate. Trapped, filled with rage, Dana hits the glass. Pinhead stares back, unmoved. Then the elevator slides back, revealing a massive cube-like structure. Meanwhile, in the control room, Gary sends a security guard to kill Marty and complete the ritual. But when the elevator doors open, the guard is unexpectedly grabbed by the severed zombie arm distracting him. Dana and Marty seize the opportunity, take him down, and grab his gun. But a full squad swarm in, closing in fast on Dana and Marty. They flee into a hallway filled with locked doors. Suddenly, a voice echoes over the intercom, urging them to surrender and accept their fate. Instead, they slip into a nearby operator room just before bullets start flying. Dana spots a control panel with a big red button and, in desperation, presses it.
Let's get this party started.
This unlocks all the doors, releasing an army of monsters that slaughter the security team. Meanwhile, Hadley, Sitterson, and Lynn lock themselves in the main control room. All kinds of monsters from the best and worst horror films storm the facility. It's pure chaos. The staff drop one by one. Oh yeah, even a psychotic unicorn joins the party. Elsewhere, Dana and Marty escape through a hole in the hallway as the monsters break into the control room. Steve attempts to hold them off with a machine gun while Gary frantically enters a code to access an escape hatch. Then, boom! An explosion sends Steve flying, where he is devoured by a monstrous fish-like creature. Suddenly, his life flashes before his eyes.
I am never gonna see a merman, ever.
Oh man, I'm sorry. Be thankful. Those things are terrifying.
Oh, come on.
Sitterson barely escapes through the hatch, running down a dark corridor until he runs straight into Dana, who stabs him in the chest with her dagger. Before dying, he whispers to her to kill Marty. Without hesitation, Marty hands Dana the gun, and they move further into the tunnel. They soon enter a chamber surrounded by 5 ancient stone tombs. This is when the director suddenly reveals herself and finally tells them the truth. If they don't make the sacrifice, the gods who rule the earth will rise again and create havoc. The director turns to Dana. Her voice is calm but firm because she is the virgin. She reminds her, the others are already dead. Only the final step remains. Kill Marty and billions will live. Spare him and the gods will rise. For a moment, Dana believes her. With only 8 minutes until sunrise, Dana faces an impossible choice. She must kill Marty to save the world. Shaken, she raises the gun at him. Marty, in shock, realizes what she's about to do. But before she can pull the trigger, a werewolf lunges from the shadows and bites her in the neck. She screams in pain and collapses as the gun slips from her grasp. Marty and the director engage in a fierce struggle for the weapon. After a brutal fight, he manages to grab the gun and fires several shots into the werewolf, making it retreat. Dana barely survives the attack. With no time to react, the director fights back and surprisingly kicks Marty ass. Just as she gains the upper hand on him, Anna Buckner returns, stabs her with an axe. Marty wastes no time and throws them both into the pit. Despite their efforts, the ritual has failed. Accepting their fate, Dana and Marty sit together, exhausted. Dana remembers Marty's words along the way, and Marty wished he wasn't right. They share one last smoke, watching as the world collapses around them. The film ends as a massive hand bursts from the ground, destroying the lab and sealing humanity's doom. What about you, my friends? Would you have pulled the trigger? Would you have sacrificed a friend to save humanity? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more insane endings like this one, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell. We've got plenty more coming.